Hello and welcome to the Lotus Tech Innovation Centre at Raunheim outside Frankfurt. We're in the heart of the European automotive industry. It's an excellent venue from which to unleash the future of the iconic car company Lotus as it transforms from a UK sports car company to a truly global performance car business and brand. We're here today to talk about the Eletre, the first SUV from Lotus, and the first of its exciting all-electric lifestyle models. Cars are now very close to being delivered to their owners, and over the next 40 minutes or so, we'll bring you right up to date with the Eletre's development programme. Lotus is really on a journey of global growth called Vision 80. Here's how that's progressing. Born British, raised globally. It's a phrase that really epitomises the journey that Lotus is on. Not 5 years ago, Lotus had one design studio, one engineering base and one manufacturing facility, all at Hethel in the UK. And here we are today in Germany at a dedicated R&D hub known as LTIC, the Lotus Tech Innovation Centre. In the studio at Raunheim today with me are some of the key players leading the Vision 80 strategy that's driving the growth of Lotus worldwide. Next to me is Matt Windle, who is Group Vice President and Managing Director of Lotus Cars, the company's sports car division at Hethel in Norfolk. Hi, Matt.
Hi.
Next to Matt is Ben Payne, who is Head of Studio and Managing Director of Lotus Tech Creative Centre in Coventry in the UK. It's Ben and his team who've led the design work on the beautiful Lotus Eletre SUV. Welcome.
Hello.
And next to Ben, we have Maximilian Schwey, who is Vice President of Lotus Technology and Managing Director here at Raunheim. Thank you for hosting us.
Thank you.
Finally, we have Peter Horbury, who is Executive Vice President of Lotus Design, the man who is overseeing the transformation of the Lotus design language. He's charged with taking the core DNA of Lotus two-seaters and adapting it for a new generation of cars and customers, a process that starts with the Eletre. So let's see how he's making that happen.
Every one of our cars has a Lotus badge on the front, but quite frankly, you don't need it. you should be able to see it's a Lotus without the badge. That's what we call the Lotus DNA. My name is Peter Horbury. I'm the Vice President of Design for Group Lotus. The DNA has grown over years, but there is what we call a red thread running through. Colin Chapman, with Formula One cars at the time, was extremely clever in managing air. And I think that sort of design work, it's in the walls here. There was a car in the 60s, a race car called the Lotus 30, and that was a very dramatic shape. The front fenders and the rear fenders were very pronounced, and the cockpit was sunk way down. That form language really creates that very strong, natural and yet sporty look. That was the start, I think, of what we've been using for the last 3 decades or more. We're not doing retro, we're not repeating the past. I'd say we're reminding of the past. The new cars look very modern, very new, even if they do have their roots so far back. The Lotus 30, the Emira and the Eletre, all those cars have in some part the same look. That low front, the rise over the front wheel, the dip down through the cabin area, and then back over the rear wheel. Older people will probably remember the 30 and see how that has developed. Younger people who see the new cars will realise that there has been a very strong heritage running through all these years to create that DNA that we call Lotus. I think it's important that we don't just stick to one look. You know, you look at families. Siblings, they're not always twins, triplets and quadruplets, nor are they the same look in different sizes. Each member of a family has their own character, but when you look at them, you can tell who the parents are, and that to me is enough. With the SUV, the fact that it was electric really gave us that opportunity to make it look more like a Lotus than we would have. We don't have that massive petrol engine either in the front nor behind. And one thing that helped us do with the Eletre was to recreate that mid-engine look, because we could move the windscreen forward so it sits perfectly between the wheels, just as it does on the Avaya, the Elise, etc. And to do that on an SUV is only possible with electric. So this electric revolution has created a design revolution as well. The porosity is only possible because there's space to do it. We have 5 seats and luggage to take care of, but the intake of air and the exhausting of air out of these vents on the side and at the back really creates no build-up of air pressure. It escapes immediately, and that combination of efficient aerodynamic shape plus the ability to exhaust the air from those apertures really will help the range. I know the future. And it's looking very good. We've already completed the next car and we're working on the following one, using the DNA, but not in a way that's static. We're moving on. But when you look at them, I'd like people to say, I can see it's a Lotus, but I don't know why. Well, I know why, and that's enough. Being responsible for a brand like Lotus is a bit like being asked to look after the crown jewels. It's yours for a while, pick it up, be careful, and then hand it on carefully. A huge responsibility. Everybody's looking to see what we do next. I'm quite confident that we'll give them more than they expect.
The Lotus Esprit, a personal favourite. Peter, I know that fans worldwide will want to know how much the Esprit features in the current Lotus designs. There's been quite a lot of chat on forums and message boards about that, hasn't there?
Well, yes, the Esprit was a real icon, or in fact is an icon for Lotus and a very important part of our history. So, of course, we could look at bringing in some design cues from the Lotus Esprit into the future. But I'd like to think that rather than people saying, oh, that looks like an Esprit, they'd probably say, well, that reminds me of an Esprit. And I think that would be enough. So should we use it as an influence? I would probably use the line from Bond himself, never say never.
Oh, I like it. Thanks, Peter. Now, we know that the first examples of the Eletre will be delivered to customers next year. But Matt, you're in the process of delivering another Lotus car to customers, aren't you? Can you tell us about the Emira and how big a deal that car is for Lotus?
The Emira is a huge deal for us. It is our last petrol-powered car, but it's the best of a breed. And we've seen more orders for that car in the last year than we have in the last 6 years. So it's going down in history as our best ever selling Lotus.
That's great news. Now for the next film, don't be afraid to turn up the volume.
Ever since I first came to Lotus in 1998, I always knew there were the makings of a global car company at Hethel. But until we had a robust shareholder backing, it wasn't ever really possible to realise that ambition. Until now. Today, almost 25 years after I first walked in the door, that's what we're building through Vision 80, a truly global performance car business and brand. And this, the Emira, is evidence of what we're able to achieve with the right backing. More cars sold in the last 12 months than in the past 6 years combined. It's taken the world by storm, and rightly so. The Emira has the qualities for which Lotus is well renowned. Our characterful 3.5 litre V6 engine, our exceptional ride and handling, our precision steering that delivers so much feedback to the driver. Now we deliver so much more. Outstanding practicality and packaging, a genuine shift in interior quality, bespoke HMI and infotainment technology, a class-leading 2-litre AMG powertrain with paddle shift. This is a true Lotus, the most accomplished road car ever to come out of the Hethel factory gates. Light, nimble, mid-engined, exotic-looking, competitively priced. As we move to an exciting all-electric future, this is our last mainstream petrol car. It is the best of breed. The dream, the ambition is coming true. We have a great new product, a huge order book, a new factory, new paint shop, new jobs, new processes, new IT to support it all. And the Emira is just the beginning.
So it's clear from the film that production of the Emira is progressing well, Matt, but has Lotus been affected by global supply chain issues?
We haven't been immune from the issues, but we have now turned the corner. So we've started customer collections and customer deliveries. We're unique in the way that we're allowing customers to reserve, pay, and collect their cars from the factory gate. And from Hethel, they get to experience our unique home and what we have to offer there as well. Lotus has also employed a unique finance and payment system, which is the first time it's been used in the automotive world.
Great stuff. Now, we're here to talk about the Eletre, but it's not the first EV from Lotus. Let's return to Hethel now for an update on the sensational Evija hypercar.
Sometimes I have to pinch myself. Just look at it. Appreciate its form. Consider its function. It's like nothing that's ever existed before. Designer Russell Carr calls it carved by air. A perfectly proportioned blend of porosity, fluidity, and crisp lines. The pronounced muscular haunches that envelop the teardrop cabin as it sinks between them. In my opinion, it's the best car in the world. But I guess you'd expect me to say that. It's just that not enough people know about it yet. That will change. You're going to be hearing a lot more about Avaya in the coming months. It's a bold statement of intent about our ambition. The most powerful series production road car ever built by any company. And it's a Lotus. I've been lucky enough to drive it many times, and it never ceases to amaze me. It's a sensational experience, genuinely breathtaking. The Avaya sets a new standard for Lotus dynamic performance. 100 to 200 kilometers an hour in less than 3 seconds, and 200 to 300 in less than 4 seconds. It leaves petrol-powered hypercars trailing. It is a true Lotus. The mid-mounted battery pack echoes the layout of so many of our legendary road and race cars. Avaya continues that bloodline. It was ahead of its time, even before it was launched. When we unveiled Avaya, Lotus was already committed to a fully electric future. We just hadn't told anyone yet. We knew the Eletre, our fully electric hyper SUV, and 3 other EVs were in the pipeline. Believe me, this is just the start from Lotus. In every corner of this business, the passion to succeed is immense. And to be part of it, I'm the luckiest guy in the world.
Matt, you described the Avaya as the greatest car in the world, which is understandable given that you're from Lotus, but you also said not enough people know about it and that there's much more news to come. So can you tell us anything?
In just the last couple of weeks, we announced the collaboration with F1 champion Emerson Fittipaldi. It celebrated 50 years since he won the championship with Team Lotus. And they're a very unique car. And those cars, we did 8 special versions. They were sold out before we even announced them. So it shows that there is a real appetite for electric hypercars out there. Halo cars have to be the very pinnacle of the range. And with Avaya, we're confident that we have the stats and the performance that will beat anything out there.
So Matt, what records could the Avaya break?
Well, the news is the simulation is showing us that the car will be very good around the Nürburgring. But it should do, because it's got all the properties for that. It's ultra powerful, it's lightweight for an EV, and it's got incredible downforce as well. We've already said that this car will beat any other car to 300 kilometers an hour. So I think all I can say is everybody needs to just watch this space.
What about customer deliveries?
Well, it's happening. We're making the first cars. It's well known that Jenson Button has ordered a car, and he was at Hethel just recently, finalising his spec and driving the car. And the feedback we got from him was, he said it's sensational.
Exciting stuff, Matt. So that covers the 2-seater section of the market, which is, of course, where Lotus is best known. But now let's turn our attention to the Eletre. Ben, you designed the car. We're going to talk about that process in a minute. But Max, you and the team here at the LTIC, the Lotus Tech and Innovation Centre, have been leading the development work on the Lotus all-electric first SUV. And since it was first announced 6 months ago, how has that process been?
We have been extremely busy working for the last 6 months, of course, developing the final technological attributes of the vehicle. It is state-of-the-art product, for sure, and the team is extremely proud to be able to deliver this.
Thanks, Max. In the second half of the show, we have lots of news about the Lotus Eletre. Coming up, we hear how Lotus is embarking on an ambitious future based on 3 key pillars: life, tech and speed. The design team explain how they put the life into Lotus, the team from LTIC talk tech, and the dynamic testing team deliver the all-important speed. Plus, how does the world's first hyper SUV measure up against the original Lotus hypercar? So let's remind ourselves of what the world already knows about the Eletre. It's an all-new and all-electric hyper SUV from Lotus. It's bold, progressive, and exotic. As Peter has revealed, it takes the iconic sports car DNA and evolves it for a new generation of Lotus customers. A momentous point in our history. That's how Matt Windle described it at the world premiere back in March. So let's start with life. The all-new Eletre is the first Lotus lifestyle vehicle. Ben Payne and his team at the Lotus Tech Creative Centre have designed this stunning car, a new model with the soul of a Lotus and the usability of an SUV. Let's find out more.
Creating a lifestyle vehicle for Lotus is a really major challenge. With a brand that has been known for purely visceral, out-and-out sports car products, to transition into new market segments and to create something that has a slightly different focus to it is a really big responsibility. We know that for Lotus to continue to grow and to gain sort of global relevance, we have to diversify. So going into lifestyle products is a natural next step. What we're trying to do now with Lotus is appeal to a broader range of people. An SUV offers that type of flexibility. And with Eletre, we can fulfill that space of genuine practicality, usability, and something for a family to enjoy. The Eletre represents a really big step forward in design terms and in product terms for Lotus, but I think that's even more evident when you look inside the car. The interior is probably the biggest step forward for the brand. This is the first four-door Lotus. I mean, there have been four-seat Lotuses in the past, but this is quite large, expansive space. So we have had to rethink the starting point, and that gave us a lot of freedom in some senses. Lotus has always been about something highly experiential. There's a big emotional pull. Infotainment and sound are a key part of that. So with KEF, we found the right partner. There's a natural synergy between the two brands, and we're both sort of focused on engineering excellence and trying to bring the very best to the experience we can offer the customer through technically achieving something very, very special.
The Eletre audio system is one of the most powerful audio systems ever put into a production car. We want to be able to deliver a sound which is impactful, has high energy.
It's actually a challenge to transform the sound that you would experience in the listening room to inside a car. On the other hand, you know exactly where your listener is, because your passenger and the driver will always be sitting in the same position.
KEF speakers are always about sound quality and about immersiveness in the room, and we've managed to bring that same technology into the speakers that we've incorporated into the Eletre system. Right from the beginning, we've gone for genuine UniQ driver technology, genuine Unicore subwoofer technology, and I think all of that's paid off magnificently. I think for many, it will be the most emotional, enveloping sound experience that they've had. We're excited about the future of our collaboration. Both KEF and Lotus are strong engineering companies with foundations in technology and innovation. So it's such a great thing to have this partnership, allowing us to bring new experiences to people in car entertainment.
The natural evolution of the brand means we've got to diversify our product ranges, and I think the lifestyle products will have an influence back on sports cars in terms of certain aspects of usability and definitely technology. There's a really sort of difficult balancing act of how we make sure that we don't neglect all the past history and what's come before, and we make sure that what we do with lifestyle products is effectively projecting that into the future and creating a new relevance, let's say, for Lotus that enables us to engage with more customers and ultimately build a more sustainable business model.
So Lotus is working to develop a car for every stage of your life, creating the next generation of customers for Lotus. And customers worldwide are today ever more focused on environmental issues and social responsibility. Matt, what's the story at Lotus on that?
We're in a really strong position at Lotus. Earlier this year, we announced our ESG charter, which covers the environment, social and governance. We are the first established sports car manufacturer in the world to commit to the end of internal combustion engines.
And our electrification strategy is the next part of that. It started with the Avaya programme, and now today with Eletre, we're able to bring that technology and that level of performance to many more customers with our first mass-produced EV. And in the future from Lotus, you're going to see more of the same. So everything from this step on will be fully electrified cars.
It's good to hear.
We know Lotus as a brand that stands for innovation, technology and speed. This is for us just the start. We need to evolve the brand into something really, really important for the future. Lotus Tech Innovation Center, we are proud to bring innovation to Europe. Germany is the center of automotive excellence, and we take the right people with the right knowledge, with the right experience to bring the experience into Lotus. We want to bring new technology to the heart of the brand.
Me and the team look inside the DNA of Lotus, the performance, the lightness, the racing, and translate this value in the new digital world.
Eletre is our very first hyper SUV, but it's also a hyper brain and hyper intelligent machine. This means that the processing speed of the information that we provide inside Eletre can be updated and used in a very, very short time.
We provide for the first time in the world the EV range navigation system that will secure to the driver the easy way to charge the car all the time. When we started this project, we were not believing that this level of technology was possible to apply on a car today. And now we are even more excited looking at what we will do in next 2-3 years, launching a sequence of new vehicle and equipped with even more advanced technology inside.
The combination of all the sensors, the HD map, the positioning and the GPU capability make this platform the state-of-the-art and the best architecture that we can have right now in any car.
The human-machine interface, the UX experience, is really reaching the best level that can be seen in the market. This is something that we have to be really proud of as well. And of course, quality, comfort. We need to deliver something that is absolutely unique and special for the customer.
This has been an incredible technical and professional journey, and I'm really proud that today people can experience the results of this hard work.
For us, it's really an exciting challenge to bring the digitalization inside the Lotus brand.
It's an incredibly exciting proposition for the customers and for us, of course, to be involved and to bring new technologies, new ideas for users to enjoy.
So clearly technology is hugely important in this car, particularly in the cockpit, Max, to enhance the user experience. There is this term HMI, human-machine interface, that I keep hearing. What is that and why is it so important in the Eletre?
Human-machine interface is extremely important for our user experience. We call it digital user experience. It provides the interaction between the driver, the passenger, with the machine, with the car.
And Max, I'm very interested in music in cars, listening to music in cars, and the sound quality is hugely important for that. And I hear you have some news on that score.
I'm happy that you mentioned this. Yes, music or the sound quality inside our vehicles is incredibly important for the digital user experience. We have announced a collaboration between KEF and KEF Hi-Fi Systems and Dolby Atmos. And this collaboration will give Lotus an ultimate user experience in sound quality.
Max, we've talked about Hyper previously. How fast is the Eletre?
Eletre is going to be one of the fastest SUVs in the world. We are doing a lot of testing in our local test track and racetrack Nürburgring, which is incredibly challenging, but we are proving with our tests and our simulations that we will achieve these targets.
How is that relevant to the customer?
We have been developing our vehicle on the racetrack and test track Nürburgring. The experiences from this are implemented to our vehicle. The ultimate settings of our suspensions, of course, give the customer the best experience, driving experience. We call this a track mode, and it's standard feature on Eletre R.
So where does this take Lotus in the future?
Well, we have an excellent car. Our job is to ensure that it's a brilliant Lotus as well. We are developing an autonomous driving system for our vehicle, and we talked about Nürburgring. In the future, you'll be able to drive Eletre on Nürburgring fully autonomously.
Finally, S for speed. Not a surprise from a brand which next year celebrates 75 years of making sports cars.
For me, speed in Lotus means the shortest time taken between point A and point B. And that can be on the most enjoyable country road or racetrack, whatever that may be. And it's getting that maximum confidence so you know I couldn't have gone through there any quicker. And you just enjoy every corner. I've been at Lotus 34 years, looking at all the future cars, bringing our DNA through from our heritage, from the way we sit in a car, the way it sounds, to ultimately the way it drives and feels. It's really important that we understand that our character at Lotus, and every Lotus we do, be it an old one or a new one or a future one, feels identical. And that's what makes it a Lotus a Lotus. There's two main things that really give a Lotus its character. The way the car rotates, you turn the steering wheel and you feel all the motion in the car build up around your hip, so you feel instantly connected to it. And then a Lotus as well, it just breathes with the road. It's not hard and harsh, it just copes with the road surfaces and the compressions and swells without giving that sort of fear that you're losing contact with the road. We can make, a vehicle like the Eletre feel as nimble as the smallest of the least, because we have all the technology of rear steer, active roll control, active damping technology, and then aerodynamics. The Eletre has been truly a global car. Its involvement from the best engineers around the world all coming together in one product. The circuit we're using here at Dudenhofen with our colleagues from LTIC is an amazing track. It's quite tight, twisty, undulating, so it's nearly the perfect B road that you could come across. That Eletre drives exactly as a Lotus should. At Lotus, we'll never use the electronics as a band-aid for a poor, what we call architecture or chassis. The car just flatters itself. It's enjoyable, it's neutral, a little lift and you can tighten the line. It's just been amazing all day to drive. Working at Lotus for 34 years, being mentored by ex-Formula One drivers, it's such a proud moment to drive something like the Eletre today. For me, anyone who's questioned Lotus doing an SUV, forget it. Feels like a Lotus inside. It is a true Lotus.
Wow, so now I'm intrigued. Who would win between the Eletre and the Avaya?
Well, the cars are both very different beasts. Avaya can outrun any car, but the numbers don't lie in this case. up to 100 kilometres an hour, I think it'll be pretty close. But ultimately, Avia's amazing acceleration to 300 kilometres an hour is going to bring it out on top.
Well, you'd expect there to be a correlation between the two because the aerodynamics of the Eletre were inspired by those of the Avia.
So the world's first hyper SUV gives the first Lotus hypercar a run for its money. Thanks to my guests in the studio, Matt, Ben, Max and Peter. Don't go away though, there's still more to come as we announce the prices and specs of the Lotus Eletre for different markets around the world.
Hello, it's great to be with you today to share the specs and the prices for the new Lotus Eletre SUV. Europe will account for some 30% of all Lotus global sales in the future. So this fantastic car will play a major role in the Vision 80 strategy for Lotus. We are already taking reservations from many countries in Europe. We have prioritized 8 markets. Those are Germany, France, Belgium, Italy, Sweden, Switzerland, Norway and the Netherlands. Customers can order directly via our innovative online direct-to-consumer model developed together with our agents. Of course, they can also visit our agents in the respective markets. And on top of that, we will have several experience centers in different cities, so our customers get to see and experience the brand in all its facets and be able to perform a test drive. We have just moved into our new headquarters, The Vibe, in Amsterdam. It is a creative hotspot capable of hosting 200 associates in the future, a true new home for Lotus in Europe. So to the Eletre, it offers a very rich equipment level and depending on the driver's preferences, it can be available in 2 main feature packs. Number 1 is the S-Pack, for the driver looking for the perfect combination between sportiness, comfort and luxury. And then the R-Pack for the more demanding and sporty driver, maximizing the driver experience and excitement. The Eletre will be available with 2 powertrain options. The 600 plus horsepower Eletre sprints from 0 to 100 in less than 5 seconds. It has a top speed close to 250 kilometers an hour and an estimated WLTP range of around 600 kilometers. If that's not enough performance for you, the 900 plus horsepower model hits 100 kilometers an hour in a staggering 2.95 seconds. With a top speed north of 250 kilometers an hour and an estimated WLTP range of around 500 kilometers. But as you know, performance does not stop at acceleration and dynamics. The 800-volt architecture allows the next level performance when it comes to charging. Filling the batteries up to a WLTP range of 400 kilometers within just 20 minutes, or 120 kilometers in just 5 minutes, which at the end of the day is what all the hours of designing, engineering and testing the Eletre have been in service for. The thrill of the drive. You have heard from Ben Payne about the high-tech and comfortable interior of the Eletre. But comfort is more than just feeling luxury. It is also the peace of mind. So on the off chance you do run into any issues, you'll have the reassurance of Lotus warranty that covers unexpected incidents for the first 5 years or the first 150,000 kilometers, whatever comes first. And we also offer for our reservation holders a price guarantee if you reserve this year and order the Eletre when the systems are open. So reserve now. Our reservation holders will also be rewarded free of charge service for the Eletre for the first 5 years or the first 150,000 kilometers, whatever comes first. Furthermore, we offer a 5-year pan-European roadside assistance for all our Eletre customers. And last but not least, let's talk about how the Eletre will be priced in Europe. We are happy to share the starting from prices for Eletre and the 2 main feature packs, the S and the R. In Germany, the Eletre will be available from 95,990 euros. The S pack will be available from 120,990 euros. And the R pack will be available from 150,990 euros. Please visit lotuscars.com to find all relevant background and the exact pricing in your home country. The Eletre will be available from summer 2023. We hope you have enjoyed this Unleash the Future presentation of Lotus, and more specific, this remarkable all-electric hyper SUV, and found it insightful to dive deeper into the details of this vehicle. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.